Good evening, everyone. I hope you're all doing well. I'm super excited to kick off this meeting of Student Senate. I'm also glad that people are commenting on my pre-Senate elevator music in the chat. I always love to hear that. So I will go ahead and call this meeting of Student Senate to order. We will forego the Pledge of Allegiance right now, and let me pull up the land acknowledgement. So I would like to begin our Student Senate meeting taking place tonight on Thursday, February 18th, 2021, with a land acknowledgement. We recognize that Kansas State University, as the first land-grant institution, stands on the ancestral lands of the Kaw people. Our state of Kansas is the home of 4 federally recognized Native nations, the Iowa, Kickapoo, Prairie Band, Potawatomi, and Sac and Fox. We must remember that the land serving as the foundation for this institution was and still is stolen land that was acquired by white settlers. We pledge our commitment to creating decolonized spaces at the university while advocating for the support and future success of Indigenous faculty, staff, and students at K-State. With that, we will now move into our first roll call. I will turn it over to Speaker Pro Tempore Billman to take us away on that.
Good evening, everyone. Am I able to be heard? Let me know if not. Okay, we'll go ahead and get started then. Atchison.
Present.
Bain.
Here.
Booz.
Here.
Brown.
Here.
Bruce. Brummett.
Here.
Bruna. Burke.
Here.
Carlson.
Here.
Clements.
Here.
Colburn.
Here.
Crosslow.
Here.
Dillevue.
Here.
Doc.
Here.
Dunlap.
Here.
Frederick. Glasscock.
Here.
Grills.
Here.
Gomez. Hamlin.
Here.
Harmon. Hurd.
Here.
Heimerman.
Here.
Hernandez. Jambunathan.
Here.
James Rose.
Here.
Kidd.
Here.
Levi.
Here.
Loya. Manners.
Here.
McKee. Thank you. McVeigh. Muthukumar. Noel. Nunnink.
Here.
Phillips.
Here.
Panikatu. Thank you. Porter. Thank you. Purdy.
Here.
Richenberg.
Here.
Rodriguez.
Here.
Rossi. Shear.
Here.
Shunjay. Snyder Ben.
Here.
Snyder Blaine.
Here.
Vance.
Here.
Vogelmore.
Here.
Wallace.
Here.
Wells. Willis Jackson.
Here.
Willis Reese. And Windholtz.
Here.
Cool. Is there anyone whose name I did not call? Awesome. That puts us at 39 present and 4 excused. Thank you, everyone.
With that, we'll now continue on with our meeting. We had an open period speaker scheduled, but he actually was not, he told us today that he wouldn't be able to make it tonight. So Bill Spiegel from the K-State Recycling Center will be coming next week to speak with us. For those of you who have never heard him speak, he is just one of the most entertaining and like high energy people you have ever met. So I'm excited for him to come. Yeah, Maggie's saying it. He comes to SGA every single year. It's a priority of his, and he's just the greatest guy. So we're looking forward to seeing him come next week, since he couldn't make it tonight. Are there any other further open period speakers for tonight? Seeing no further open period speakers, just more love for Bill Spiegel, we will instead continue on with our meeting. We'll now move into approval of the minutes. The minutes should have been distributed yesterday, I believe. If there are no corrections to those, could I get a motion to approve the minutes? Moved by Cox Leader Phillips, seconded by Senator Croslow. Are there any objections to approving the minutes? Seeing none, the minutes will stand approved. So we'll move down into our announcements for tonight. Tonight for announcements. So again, as you're all aware, we are entirely online this week due to COVID-19 limitations that are on myself and some other people. I get out of isolation tomorrow. And so then I will be back and we will actually tentatively plan on having an in-person Senate meeting next week. I don't want to make any promises if I have to take them back again. But I would, as of right now, tentatively assume that Senate will have a hybrid option next week for those who would be interested in attending that. So I'm excited to finally be able to hopefully bring that back soon. For the second announcement, second and third basically together, is that SGA election season has kicked off. If you are interested in running for a position, the link right there to file is located on the page, and any questions can be directed to our Elections Commissioner, Trey Coleman. Please remember that one of the elections regulations is that you cannot campaign at official SGA events. So that means any Zoom meeting you're on that's SGA, you're not allowed to campaign at. Sometimes that also means like no wearing like campaign t-shirts, campaign stickers, etc. If you have those, you could always mute your video screen. Again, I'm not a big fan of like trying to file violations for every little thing, but I think we should be graceful and give gentle reminders to people. So just a reminder that if you're actively campaigning, whether it's for student body presidential campaign or whether it's for yourself for student senate, please remember to just make sure that the Zoom still counts as the room. So try to not have any campaign materials whatsoever there. I also would like to remind everyone that the filing deadline to run for Student Senate is tomorrow at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. So if you would like to be a student senator next year, this is your like last chance. You have like basically only 24 hours left to file for that position. You would click the link above to be able to do that. I'm actually going to pause here really quickly because I'd like everyone to know that I was emailing Elections Commissioner Coleman earlier today. And I will be quite honest with you, election filing numbers are quite low. I was expecting as much because we haven't really had the opportunity to do a lot of in-person, face-to-face like support for campaigns and things like that. So obviously like our sources of information are way more limited, but I'll be quite honest with you that it kind of sent me into a frenzy today. And I went on about a 2-hour email spree trying to like tell as many people as possible to distribute our campaign information. So it should have been sent a variety of places, or if not today, tomorrow it should be. But I still have some concerns about our filing numbers. So we are going to take a very short pause right now, probably about 3 minutes, I want to say, since it's 7:12. I would like everybody who is on this call right now to make a deliberate effort in this moment to notify either a person, a group, an organization that you're a part of, whatever it might be, that the filing deadline for Senate is tomorrow at 5 p.m. And I'd like to explain really quickly why this is so important to me. And that's because once your name is on the ballot, you can take it off. But if you miss the deadline tomorrow at 5 p.m., there is really no way for your name to get added to the ballot unless you're a write-in or unless it gets so far down into vacancies that like your college caucus next year is selecting the members. Ideally, I don't think that's the best solution. Obviously, I also think some people might not have had time to do it yet. So if you haven't filed yet, and you are like remotely interested in SGA next year, like you're even like if you're indecisive, you should file because you can always take your name off or refuse a Senate seat, but you can never get added back onto the list of people that we have to contact. So it is 5 p.m. tomorrow. Thank you, Senator Grills, for asking. Here, I will copy and paste the link into the chat right now, just off the agenda. So you can have it. Feel free to literally just like copy and paste this announcement that I have in the agenda right here if you are sending it to someone, but I should have just sent the link in the chat. So I'm gonna give it like 2 to 3 minutes right now. I would like everybody on this call to text or email or communicate with, even if it's just one person who you think would be a good fit for SGA next year. I think it's pretty critical that we do some outreach right now, and what better outreach than the like 50 of us on this call right now. So I'm gonna mute myself, and a little after 7:16, we are going to reconvene again. But I would like everybody, even if you're graduating, no matter who you are, to make a deliberate effort to reach out to someone, some group, and like provide them that link and let them know that tomorrow is the deadline and that's it. So we're gonna pause right now and reconvene soon. So I'm also gonna do this. Okay, so we should have had just about 2 minutes to do that. I want to do a quick feedback check right now. Please put some sort of Zoom reaction, whichever one you want, it doesn't matter. Click on the reactions and click any of them to let me know that you notified someone in that little time. I really want to see it go up. I want to see like at least half the people on the call right now have a reaction, minimum half. We're at like almost 30 right now, so that's good. I'm seeing already. Okay, awesome. We had, I counted at least 30 came in. They only last for 10 seconds before they go away. But to everyone who just contacted someone, thank you. Again, if I could stress it, like I cannot stress this enough. If people don't file by 5 p.m. tomorrow night, like there is essentially no chance for them to run for SGA for next year. So again, if you are a current member, and you are like on the fence or haven't decided if you want to run for next year, now is the time. Please click on that link on the agenda and go through and file. It takes like barely any time. You just mark what college you are and what you want your name to be on the ballot. It's a very easy process, but we really like would like to have like a diverse group of candidates and like that ranges from people like from across campus. And the best way to do that is to like use our social networks. Like I said, I emailed as many people as I could think of today. To pass it out to them. So I'm hoping our numbers go up. But again, like this is the only chance, which is why like I would again strongly encourage you all to file. I'm certain Elections Commissioner Coleman will have an update later as well for things that he'd like to share. But I just really wanted to stress that right now. So we'll keep moving on with our meeting. Our next few things are specifically about funding opportunities. So the academic competition team funding application is currently live. So any organizations that are like competitive, so again, I think of like Model UN, any of like engineering design team, like I know like the crops judging team from the College of Ag, really any team that would compete at some level, this is their only way to get funding for next school year. So if you are in any of those clubs or you know people who are, please pass this application on to them. Again, you can find the link on the agenda, which everyone should have. But that is going to close on Friday, February 26th. So a week from tomorrow. We'll also be creating that committee next week in Student Senate as well. But that is like pretty critical that people apply. We've already had like at least 10 applications come in, so it's going pretty well for right now. But I'd really just like to give that as a reminder for everyone that there's about 1 week left. And that's, again, the only opportunity for these groups for the next entire academic year to receive the funding that they need. And I expect that next year people will actually be traveling and stuff again to competitions. So they'll probably want that money. Along that same line, the sports club team funding application also just went live this week as well. So this is the only opportunity for sports teams. So I think of like the paintball club, like the volleyball club, the tennis club, et cetera, like those kinds of activities, like more competitive athletic events, to receive any of their SGA funding for next year as well. So again, like we're reaching out to them, but if you know anyone or anyone who's like would be interested in that, you're on any of those teams, please, please, please pass that application along. That one is going to close on Friday, March 5th. And so that one is run by Travel Allocations Committee, is the one who takes care of that. So again, please just have that in mind. Those applications are going on right now. Along that same line, both the on-campus and travel allocations committees are sponsoring an SGA funding workshop within the next weeks for student organizations to learn about how to apply for these different events and how those funds can be used. Specifically, both regular on-campus and travel funding also closes on February 28th, which is the last time for us as a term to be able to give funding to student events. We haven't had a lot of applications this year, again, because of COVID limitations, but we'll be having these workshops as an opportunity to meet with students. So those workshops are going to be led by those committee chairs, Chair Sarah Pelton and Chair Carissa Jonak, and they're going to be just about half an hour, so pretty short with some time for questions from the groups who go as well. Also, one of those workshops will be recorded for anyone who can't make it. So again, they just need to reach out to those individuals. You can see the dates and the times, as well as like the locations on the agenda right now. So there'll be 4 opportunities next week. And again, that recorded session. If you are in any student organizations that are looking for any sort of funding, again, like this is the opportunity where they could really meet one-on-one. So if you're interested, let someone know or text or email. Specifically, Chair Sarah Pelton is taking the lead on this, and her contact information is on the agenda right there. Additionally, proxies for tonight are Carlson for Hutchings, Richenberg for Diaz de Leon, and then also Snyder Blaine for Carr. That one came in today, so it didn't get on the agenda when I sent it out last week. The SGA member of the week this week is Speaker Pro Tempore Maggie Billman for her eagerness and willingness to cover for me. Speaker Pro Tempore Billman always steps up to the plate whenever it's necessary, and I think all of us, particularly myself, are really grateful for her can-do attitude and willingness to step up. For those who aren't aware, I had COVID last week, which is why I wasn't at our meeting. And so Maggie like took it all like in stride. She literally like went to like 3 or 4 different meetings for me last week. She's just a trooper and a champion and member of the week for sure. So thank you so much, Maggie, for being able to cover. We appreciate all the work that you do. Looking at our upcoming events calendar, it looks pretty typical, but the one thing it's crazy, it's here already, is that the primary election for Student Buddy President is already next Tuesday and Wednesday. So on Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, I believe it's from 8 a.m. on Tuesday until 5 p.m. on Wednesday. Polls will be open. You'll see it on social media, on K-State Today, et cetera. You'll get a Canvas pop-up notification as well. But that election will be open for you to vote for who you'd like to be Student Buddy President. Please note that primary elections are the only time that we can do write-ins for president. After that, it's just the top 2 candidates at the general election to ensure that someone receives a majority. So please just keep that in mind that if you're planning on writing in anyone, it goes there. But that's when the primary election is. It's crazy that it's here already. And then finally, for our quote of the week this week is, "What good is the warmth of summer without the cold of winter to give it sweetness?" It was a little on the nose this week when selecting the quote. So with that, we will now move into commendations, which we don't have any this week, but we do have one appointment. We have a new student senator joining us tonight. And so if I could get someone who could make a motion for us to consider Resolution 55, if someone could type "so moved" in the chat for me. Moved by Chair Rodriguez and seconded by Senator Croslow. So with that, will the author of Resolution 55 please come forward?
Yeah, hello everyone. This is Resolution 2021-55, approval of new student senator by Senate Operations Committee. Whereas Ashley Fox resigned from the position of student senator for the College of Business, and whereas Cameron James Rose has the next highest vote total of eligible enrolling candidates in the 2020 SGA general election for College of Business student senator, because we are still using those results for College of Business. So be it resolved that Section 1, the following individual be approved as a student senator for the College of Business, Cameron James Rose.
Are there any questions or corrections for the author about this resolution? Seeing none, I will now seek a motion to approve this resolution unanimously. Is there a motion for that? Moved by Caucus Leader Phillips, seconded again by Senator Croslow. Are there any objections to approving this resolution unanimously? Seeing none, Resolution 55 will be approved. Cameron, I know that you're on the call right now. If you would like to unmute your video and your screen for us, I will get you sworn in right now. We can have you take the oath of office.
Awesome, sounds good.
If you just want to raise your right hand and at the end say, "I will." So I do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of student senator and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Kansas State University Student Governing Association.
I will.
Awesome. Congratulations, Senator James Rose. We're so excited to have you join us.
Thank you. Thank you.
With that, we'll now continue on with our meeting. Next up on our agenda is committee reports. So are there any committee chairs who would like to give a report? Please just indicate so in the chat or raise your hand. Chair Pelton, you can have the floor.
Sweet. So yeah, you did a good job of covering everything that I told you to put in the announcement. I just wanted to indicate that our meeting on Sunday, I've been talking to the people at the union and CSI all day today. The union is closed on the weekends, so our meeting that is on Sunday will be on Zoom as well. Just for security purposes as well, if anybody's interested in attending, just shoot me an email. But yeah, I'm excited. I hope we get some good turnout, and hopefully we'll be able to spend some of the $10,000 we pulled out.
Awesome. Are there any questions for Chair Pelton about the upcoming funding workshops? Seeing none, thank you so much, Sarah, for your report. Are there any additional committee chairs who would like to give a report at this time? Seeing none, we'll now continue on with our meeting. Are there any directors who would like to give a report? Elections Commissioner Coleman, you have the floor.
Good evening, everyone. And we saw it looked a little scary this morning when it came to filing numbers, just to start things off with that. But I will have you know that in this time today, we've had about 16 more people file and a couple more for both UGB and Student Publications Board, which is really fortunate to hear. But I really appreciate all the work Nathan has done to get the word out there even more. Because we've seen, you guys might have seen the graphic that was shared by President Whitmer or from your various different colleges that have been getting shared around within the past week. Those infographics have also been getting shared and displayed on the digital displays in various different buildings from the union into the library. And so that's been probably one of our only main ways of getting out to people with COVID, of trying to increase contact and get people interested in the election outside of the K-State today. And so trying to get it out there and using social media has been one of our main platforms. And that is why I would also like to ask people, using that infographic that was shared by President Whitmer and just sharing it on your Instagram story or on Twitter, try to increase that contact or anyone for the possibility to go and file. Moving on from that, also as Speaker Bothwell said, the primary elections are next Tuesday and Wednesday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And that will be happening, and there will be an infographic being, and not an infographic, but a promo for that with the link to go vote that will get shared, that hopefully you guys get a hold of too, that you can share on your stories as well, so that we can get as many people to vote for the primaries and later on the generals election as possible. I think that's all I have to say for today. I'm always open to any questions. You can reach out to me at any time. But yeah.
Awesome. Are there any questions for Elections Commissioner Coleman? One thing that I will add, yes, it was mentioned the infographic. I meant to send that out with the final draft of the agenda last night, and it slipped my mind. So I will do that right when the meeting is over tonight, or maybe even during the meeting if I get a break, like if someone's debating something or something like that. Ashley, I will send that out. Student Body President Whitmer sent an email to the full student body today, but I'm also aware that not everybody receives those. Maggie didn't get it, but I did. So I know there was some issue with that. But I will say that I will send it to everyone in SGA. So that's 150 people. So they can share that infographic. I meant to send it out yesterday and I just forgot. But I have the PDF version of that I can send to you, Ashley, right after the meeting is done. Are there any other questions about elections at this time? Seeing none, are there any additional directors who would like to give a report this evening? Seeing none, I do have two short announcements that I would like to make. These are just about opportunities available to everyone. I didn't think they warranted being on the announcements because they weren't super big and I didn't know how many people would use them. Are people seeing my emails right now, or is it still the screen? I just want to make sure. I forget how I shared the meeting tonight.
Just the announcements, the agenda.
Okay, perfect. I was trying to get this thing pulled up from my email. I wanted to make sure that I wasn't sharing a whole bunch of stuff that didn't need to be shared. Let me pull up one thing really quickly. So the first is an opportunity that I wanted to share with people. As of right now, we are actually searching for a new director for the Office of Institutional Equity. Obviously, with a lot of things that have happened on campus within the past year, specifically relating to discriminatory incidents, it's really important that we have a good person in this position. We have an interim director right now who I actually met this afternoon, who I think is doing a pretty good job, but it's pretty critical that we have someone in this position who's really good. And all of you have opportunities to provide feedback. There's actually going to be some candidate open forums that'll be live streamed via YouTube. And then on the president's website, you'll actually be able to provide feedback on any of those candidates. Hold on, I'm going to copy and paste this information out of my email right now. I just have Zoom stuff coming in the way. But I just wanted to share this opportunity with everyone because these will be next week. On Monday and Wednesday will be the live streams. So let me paste that in there. Okay, so that's the information for the open forums. If I would recommend just copying and pasting that for yourself, or again, just writing down those times. So Monday from 1 to 2 p.m. and then Wednesday from 1 to 2 p.m. There'll be YouTube lives. Again, you can see on the president's website. If you would like the opportunity to learn more and give feedback, I would highly, highly recommend it. This is your chance to kind of watch these candidates and really help shape who our administrators and the search committee ends up picking. So these are some pretty cool opportunities that I wanted to put on your radar. The other opportunity that I wanted to let people know about is that I received an email today from Faculty Senate about how the Chief Information Officer for K-State, Gary Pratt, is actually going to be hosting a presentation and conversation regarding a data analytics project. I don't know a lot about this. I just received the email today, but this is going to happen before the March 9th Faculty Senate meeting. So from 2:30 to 3:30 on March 9th. And so if you are interested in learning more about that, please just shoot me an email if like data analytics is your thing. I think I know that there's some people who come to my mind when I hear that, when I think of this body. But if you would be interested, please feel free to just shoot me an email that you would want to attend that project and learn more about what's going on there. Sounds like something interesting. If that's kind of your thing and you want to know more about how we're going to be using data analytics on campus. So those are just the two announcements that I had to share with everyone. So yeah, the candidate open forums for the director of the Office of Institutional Equity, and then a data analytics project like presentation that'll be coming up. So let me know if you are interested in either of those things, and I'll be happy to connect to you. But that's all I have, unless there's any questions for me. Seeing no questions, I just want to do one final call. Any other directors who have a report this evening? Seeing none, we will now continue on with our meeting. We don't have college caucus time tonight, but like I said earlier, we actually will next week. So next week we'll be doing breakout rooms where everyone from one specific college will be getting together. You'll have to select amongst yourself one senator who you'd like to represent your college on the academic competition team selection committee as you're reviewing budget applications there. So please just know that that's something that's coming up really soon. And so we'll be doing that next week. With that, we actually have no minor allocations, and we are going to move into final action. One quick word that I do want to bring up is you'll notice our agenda is light on legislation tonight, and that's actually because due to the rolling blackouts that happened on Monday and Tuesday, all like committee meetings were canceled or moved to like an asynchronous format. And typically that's where committees review legislation. So we actually have most of our legislation that we had last week is still in committee. So if it looks like our agenda is smaller this week, it's really just because we only put the one time sensitive thing through. I did a vote with the Senate Exec Committee. But other than that, most legislation will be voted on next week. So we'll have like, I think like 3, 4, 5 different things to vote on and debate next week. So it'll be more substantial next week. Just one thing that's pretty simple tonight. So with that, Bill 2021-30 is additional diversity programming committee allocation funding from reserves, and the Senate Executive Committee referred that favorably back to the body 7-0 to 1. So one person just didn't have a recommendation on it. So with that, if the author will please come forward, have any changes or corrections been made?
None have been made, but I do have a friendly amendment for lines 27 and 32, just to strike reserve for contingencies and put in diversity programming reserve account. That's just a technical mistake.
Okay, we can make that correction before we do it. With that, Speaker Pro Tem Billman, you have first right to debate on this bill.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Thank you, Speaker Bothwell. So yeah, basically, if you remember back in the beginning of last semester, I wrote a bill basically that allows for the DPC chair to pull up to $50,000 per year out of the DPC reserve account. At this time, we have about $200,000 sitting in that reserve account. So obviously that should be spent on worthwhile activities and opportunities for students. And so I'm requesting $7,000 to be moved from the DPC reserve account in order to fund some of the Q4 activities that DPC has recommended. So right now we're sitting at about $12,000 left in our account, and we have just under $19,000 worth of activities that we have approved. So in order for those activities to happen, we do need to move the $7,000 over. The money already exists, so really it's just about moving it around, and I need your all's yes vote to make that happen. So please vote yes on this, and if you have any questions, I'm very happy to answer.
Are there any questions for Speaker Pro Tempore Billman about her debate? Seeing none, I will now be seeking any debate in the negative on this bill. So if there's anyone who would like to debate against this bill, please indicate so in the chat. Seeing none, I will now look for any additional debate in the positive. Any additional debate in the positive on Bill 30 at this time? And is there any additional debate at all? Seeing none, we will now just proceed into a roll call vote on Bill 30. This is going to be an old hat for people who know this, but we've had a couple new senators within the past few weeks. So I'd like to remind everyone that whenever we vote on something, you have 4 options. You can vote yes, you can vote no, you can vote to abstain, or you can pass if you're not certain how you would like to vote and you'd like to see how everyone else does. So you can pass a single time and then we'll work our way through the roll call and it'll come back around to you. And then you have to decide from the first 3 options of yes, no, abstain. So I always like to give people that reminder. So with that, Speaker Pro Tempore Billman will now do a roll call vote.
Thank you, Speaker Bothwell. Atchison,
Yes.
Bain,
Yes.
Booz,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Bruce, Brummett,
Yes.
Bruna, Burke, Carlson,
Yes.
Carr, Clements,
Yes.
Colburn,
Yes.
Croslow,
Yes.
Diaz de Leon,
Yes, by proxy.
Delavu,
Yes.
Doc,
Yes.
Dunlap,
Yes.
Frederick, Glasscock,
Yes.
Grills, Gromas,
Yes.
Hamlin,
Yes.
Harmon,
Yes.
Hurd,
Yes.
Heimerman,
Yes.
Hernandez, Hutchings,
Yes, by proxy.
Jane Bunathan,
Yes.
James Rose,
Yes.
Kidd,
Yes.
Levi, Loya, Manners, McKee,
Yes.
McVeigh, Muthukumar, Knoll, Nunning,
Yes.
Panicatu. Thank you, Phillips,
Yes.
Porter, Purdy,
Yes.
Richenberg,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Rossi, Shear.
Here. Oh, yes.
That's okay. Shunjay. Thank you. Snyder Ben,
Yes.
Snyder Blaine,
Yes.
Fonts, Vogelmore,
Yes.
Wallace,
Yes.
Ward, Wells, Willis Jackson,
Yes.
Willis Reese. Thank you. Windholtz.
Yes.
Awesome. Is there anyone whose name I did not call? Cool. I will go back and fix a few in the chat to give you all the final count. With that, Bill 30 passes 42 to 0. Thank you so much, everyone.
Awesome. With that, we will now continue on with our meeting. That was all the legislation we had to vote on tonight. So instead, we'll now do introduction of legislation. We only have one bill to introduce tonight, and it's Bill 31, clarification of the statutes regarding SGA and K-State athletics. Can I get a motion in the chat to consider Bill 31? Moved by Atchison and seconded by Booz. With that, will the author of Bill 31 please come forward?
Hey, let me turn the camera on here. Okay. Bill 31 by Senate Operations. Whereas the governing documents, Kansas State University Student Governing Association, contain references to committees and procedures superseded by newly approved legislation and agreements. Whereas Chapter 63, Athletic Ticket Sales Committee, KSU SGA statutes, has been superseded by Chapter 66, K-State Athletics Incorporated, K-State Student Governing Association Memorandum of Understanding. And whereas KSU SGA has been operating under the Memorandum of Understanding elucidated in Chapter 66 and not been organizing or seeking input from an athletic ticket sales committee as spelled out in Chapter 63, be it enacted that Section 1, Chapter 63, Athletic Ticket Sales Committee, be removed from the KSU SGA statutes and subsequent chapters renumbered as appropriate. And Section 2, this legislation shall take effect upon passage by the Student Senate and signature of the student body president.
Are there any questions or corrections for the author of this piece of legislation? Seeing none, thank you so much, Billy, for presenting this tonight. This will be referred to the Senate Operations Committee later for review. With that, we have exhausted all legislation for this evening. Like I said, it's kind of a really quick night since most of our stuff is still in committee because we didn't have committees because of the blackouts. So with that, we'll now move into our second open period for the night. Is there anyone who would like to speak for second open period? Please just indicate so in the chat. Speaker, I'm going to go with Chair Brown first, just because I assume I know what Pro Tem Billman's doing.
Hi, everyone. My name is Madison. I am on a student organization called Dance Marathon, and I wanted to ask if anyone's interested in signing up for our event. It is April 17th. Dance Marathon is an organization that raises money to go to Stormont Vale Hospital in Topeka, Kansas. So this money is going to go towards helping children who are ill, have diseases, in the hospital for various different reasons, and it's going to a local organization in Topeka, which is one of my favorite parts about it. So I can send the link in the chat, but I'd really appreciate if you donated, signed up. It'll be a virtual event, so totally COVID safe. And if you have any questions, just let me know.
Are there any questions for Chair Brown about what she shared? Seeing none, next Speaker Pro Tempore Billman, you can go next.
All right, thanks everyone. This is our most exciting time of evening, Senate shout outs, so feel free to unmute your video if you'd like. Yeah, if you have some that you want to fill out real quick, sorry, I wasn't really on top of it, but I'll refresh the page. So yeah, to get started, the first one says, Blake, you so fine. A happy belated birthday to me. Thank you very much, whoever that's from. Shout out to Speaker Bothwell and myself for always reaching out to see how they can help others. I seriously cannot thank you both enough. Smiley face. Happy birthday to intern Stookie. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that last name, but happy birthday to you. Special shout out to Senator James Rose for getting sworn in. What did K-State do to deserve Nathan Bothwell? Senator Grills, you are the best and I love you. File for Senate, exclamation point. Shout out to Commissioner Coleman for being a great elections commissioner. This one says, stay warm, everyone. And then finally, we have shout out to Senator Crosslow's profile pic. And let me refresh the page real quick to make sure I didn't miss anything. And I didn't. So that concludes our Senate shout outs tonight. Thank you so much, everyone.
Awesome. I want to do one last call. Are there any final second open period speakers this evening? Seeing none, I am just going to again reiterate that like the election filing deadline is tomorrow at 5 p.m. And I cannot stress enough that if you do not file, like there's basically no way for us to like give you a student Senate seat. Your name has to be on that elections results. Again, I actually, yeah, as Andrew pointed out earlier, like Senator James Rose filed last year and it's February the year after and is now getting a Senate spot. So like if you put your name on the list, you can give yourself like opportunities and like things will open up in the future. But if your name is not on that list, like you're basically shot for the whole year. So again, I would just really like to reiterate that like if you are going to be here next year and you have any sort of remote interest in being an SGA, I know this year's been really weird and we've been mostly online, so there hasn't been a lot of like as many fun things. But I really want to stress that like if you are going to be here, I would highly recommend putting your name on the list. You can always ask the elections commissioner to take your name off. You can always refuse your Senate seat and decide that you don't want it or resign if you get into the year and you're too busy or something like that, but you can never get your name added. And like, I really want to stress that. So tell everyone you know, spread that around. It closes tomorrow at 5 p.m. I will resend the graphic on our email list right after this meeting is done. So everyone can have access to that graphic and then a link and then a little blurb as well if you need stuff to talk about with people. But if you do anything in the next 24 hours for SGA, that would be the thing that I would like to really, really stress to everyone. So I really hope that you all do that. With that, for reference of legislation tonight, like I said, the one new bill that we had will be going to the Senate Operations Committee. We'll have a lot more things next week to vote on and stuff. So this week is probably our shortest meeting of the year, I think. So with that, I will now turn it over to Speaker Pro Tempore Billman for our final roll call of the night.
Thank you. Let me pull it up real quick. All right, Atchison,
Here.
Bain,
Here.
Booz,
Here.
Brown,
Here.
Bruce, Brummett,
Here.
Bruna, Burke,
Here.
Carlson,
Here.
Clements,
Here.
Colburn,
Here.
Crosslow,
Here.
Delavu,
Here.
Doc,
Here.
Dunlap,
Here.
Frederick, Glasscock,
Here.
Grills,
Here.
Gromes,
Here.
Hamlin,
Here.
Harmon,
Here.
Hurd,
Here.
Heimerman,
Here.
Hernandez, Jambunathan, James Rose,
Here.
Kidd,
Here.
Levi, Loya, Manners,
Here.
McKee,
Here.
McVeigh, Muthukumar. Thank you. Noel, Nunnink,
Here.
Phillips,
Here.
Panicatu,
Here.
Porter. Thank you. Purdy,
Here.
Richenberg,
Here.
Rodriguez. Thank you. Rossi, Shear,
Here.
Shunjay. Thank you. Senator Ben,
Here.
Senator Blaine,
Here.
Bots, Vogelmore,
Here.
Wallace. Oh, sorry. Thank you. Wallace, Wells, Willis Jackson,
Here.
Willis Reese. Thank you. And Windholtz.
Here.
Cool. Is there anyone whose name I did not call? Sweet. That puts us at 41 senators present. Thank you all.
Awesome. With that, I will now seek a motion for us to adjourn. If I can get that from Cox Leader Kidd, like always, I move that we adjourn until next week, same time, same virtual place. That was seconded by Senator Heimerman. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we will stand adjourned. I will look forward to seeing you all next week. Have a lovely rest of your evening.
Thank you.